Hi, everyone. My name's Sharon Cook. Some of you know me as a decorative painter and designer. I've been at it for quite a while, and I want to introduce someone new to you today. This is my granddaughter, Quinn Stokes.
Hi everyone.
She is also a decorative painter, and she's just starting her design career. She's just learning how to design for the very first time. She has made up a really fun project all by herself, part of our new line of products called For Kids by Kids. And so, Quinn, we're going to turn the time over to you. And why don't you share with us a little bit about your project? She's going to teach us how to paint this project today, step by step. She's doing the whole thing as the teacher. She's going to do a great job. So, Quinn, take it away.
Okay, so my painting is called Sweet Watermelon. And what it's gonna look like is something like this, but the lettering is gonna be different. It's gonna be called Sweetness is Here. It's gonna look like this, other than the lettering, and it's gonna have the wires come here, are red and green wires when it's all finished with the bow on the top. You don't have to use the same wire and ribbon that we do, and that comes in the kit. You can use whatever wire and ribbon you want, but this is just the wire that and ribbon that we send with the kit. So now we're going to talk about the pattern packet and the kit and what's in the kit and how much they cost.
Quinn, are you ready to show your painting area now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll switch your camera and we'll have that on. You can give it a go and show us what's there.
Okay. So the pattern packet is $5 and the kit is $6.50.
And it's an e-pattern packet, which
E-pattern
means they print it themselves, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And so you can find these on Sharon Cook Creations on Etsy. And these are the links that you can get them at, or you can just go on to Sharon Cook Creations on Etsy. So now we're going to talk about the kit and what's in it. So the kit, it comes with the plaque and then everything in this bag. So these come together. So now
That's $6.50, right?
Yep. And so now I'm going to show you what's inside the bag. So first we have our red and green ribbon.
Good.
And we have the wire that that you tie the bow together onto the red and green wire. And then you have your two ribbons, the watermelon ribbon and the plaid ribbon. And then you have your seeds and your stencil Venus sister.
Perfect.
So that's all in the kit.
Great. Okay. Well, how did you go about doing this, Quinn?
So how I went about doing this.
Yeah, start us off from the top.
So first I sanded it and got all the dust off, and then I used this multi-purpose sealer. And so you paint it on the front, the back, and all the sides. Once that's dry, you're ready to paint.
Okay. So how did you mark off your area and where you wanted to paint your different colors?
So how I marked it off is I took my pencil and I drew the line right like this to represent the fruit and then the rind.
Okay, just wanted to make sure your pencil lid was up. Okay, so go ahead and make your line just like you're doing it all on your own and take us through it. And so you're just kind of guessing where you want your green, right? There's not really a right place or a wrong place.
Yep.
You can make it as thick or as skinny as you want, correct?
Yep. See, you can change it as many times as you want. You can make the rind bigger or the fruit bigger. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that if you like it or not.
Well, I think that's a good rule. When you're painting, you have to be happy with it in the end, right?
Yep.
Perfect. I like it. Oh, let me move your water close to you. You're going to need that for sure.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay, so
I'm
I'm happy with how big my rinder is.
Okay, I'm gonna slide your ribbon out of the way so it doesn't get wet, okay?
Okay.
All right. And we'll move that over later, right?
Okay, so first what you're gonna do is,
We started with pink.
so first we start with the vintage pink.
Now here, pull out the other red. Let's
Okay.
tell them a little bit about why the red really has pink underneath.
So the reason why the red has pink underneath is because if you just paint the red first, you can see the wood. So you want to put a base under it so that you can't see the wood under. And so it looks thick and like it's
It's not like the red's not transparent.
yeah.
We love red. All different colors of red are fun, but a lot of reds don't have as much pigment in them and you can see through them. And it would take a whole bunch of coats of red paint to get it to cover the wood really well. But we found, luckily, right? If we painted this pink and then put this on top, what happened?
It makes it so it doesn't look transparent.
Yeah, and it's a lot faster.
Yep.
Right? Go for it.
So first, you're gonna take a big brush or a brush the size if you want. I'm gonna use a big brush for this. And
What's the rule about paints?
always shake them up before you
with
use
the lid closed.
Yep, with the lid closed. You don't want to have the paint go flying.
We laugh about that because maybe that's happened. Maybe.
So you're gonna paint everywhere inside of the line.
And do you paint on the edges of your wood or did you decide not to?
I'm going to.
Okay. But either way is okay, right?
Yep.
It's looking good so far. Quinn, while she's painting there, I'll tell you a little bit about some of the things she loves. She has a teacher that lives across the street from her, and she also helps Quinn with painting. She's done some really fabulous, very, very fun things, all kinds of things. You did a Snoopy, right?
Yeah.
You did a bear, a Papa and baby bear for your dad for Father's Day.
Yeah.
What's some of the other things that you've learned? Keep painting while you talk.
I've done an art like the arch in Moab.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
the famous arch.
Yeah.
And then when COVID was around, I did a dog wearing a mask.
Which is so fitting. So COVID, that was kind of 2 years ago. So that gives you an idea. And Quinn is only 10. Let me throw that in there. So it gives you an idea of how long Quinn's been painting. And it's kind of in her blood. And she got a good set of paints for Christmas, didn't you?
I did a pug deer. So it's a pug with an antler on it, with an antler on its head. I've done the Grinch.
Cute. Okay, don't forget to do the top of your wood. So notice how she's painting back and forth a bit to make sure that the paint doesn't leave any ridges. And if you're a newbie at this, sometimes that might seem obvious, but if this is your first time, hey, every little tip you can get helps, right?
Yep.
Now, Quinn, if you want to set that up on something so the paint and the edges get on the towel, you can just set it like that.
Okay, so now that I finished the pink, I'm gonna take my handy heat blow dryer and I'm gonna blow dry it until it's all dry. And then once it's dry, we're gonna move on to our red.
And those are pretty handy tools to have, aren't they? Really speeds things up. We'll just take it on the top of your watermelon too, because that was the last part you painted, right?
Okay, now that everything's dry, at least it won't.
Let's give it another shot if it needs it.
Okay, so now that everything's dry, now we're going to move on. Make sure that you clean out your brush really well and dry it. So now we're gonna use our watermelon slice, our red, which is called watermelon slice. I thought this was perfect because we're painting a watermelon. So we're going to use this and paint over the pink. Just like this. And see, you'll get a nice pink red.
So you can leave it with one coat, or maybe you want to do two. You could maybe do your green while you're working.
Yep.
Let that red dry and then maybe do another coat. What do you think?
Yep. We might do another coat. It just depends on how it turns out.
I kind of like the pinky red look though, so I guess it would be totally up to you.
Yep. If you like how it looks on the first coat, then you can do just that first coat. If you want to do a second coat, you can do a second coat. Doesn't matter as long as you like it.
Look at that steady hand. You're doing good, Quinn.
Thanks.
Good, good, good.
Okay, so now that that's done, see, I like it with the first coat. I like the pinky red. So now you're gonna dry it again.
Okay, do the top edge, remember?
Oh, yep.
Make sure you get that covered too. Okay, here's your brush. I'll get this ready for you.
So if you're doing the edges, make sure you don't forget to do that.
And you can paint your back any color you want when you're done, right?
Yep. You can paint it like a blue if you want to. You can paint
Anything
in a green.
that you would love.
Okay. So now we're gonna take our fancy heat tool and blow and dry it. See, I did a one coat, but you can do as many coats as you want. You can even do 4 coats if you want to get it that dark red.
Yeah, just whatever color they love, right?
Yep.
But it is great that the pink's underneath because you do get enough with even one coat if that's what you like. And get to the top too.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna feel it if it's dry. Okay, it's dry. Let's see the edge. Oh, there's a little wet part.
Go for it. So when you're dry, can we talk a little bit about the kinds of paints you're using?
Yep. So let's see. Yep, it's dry now.
Dry?
Yep.
Okay, pull over your next color that you're gonna do.
So the next color
You're
is
gonna try your green, maybe?
yeah. What color
Yeah,
did I do?
jewel green. You did that.
Was it? Okay, so
Yeah.
or
So
was it the light sour apple green?
no, you did that last.
Okay, so
So
now we take
So let's just tell them a little bit about the kind of paint they were using. Um, we, we really like Deco Art. They've been a very, very good company for us and helped provide paints that we like to use, right?
yep.
So there are lots of good products on the market, but if you're unsure of what you might like, I would really recommend these. And Quinn has a whole set of these kinds of paints at her house too.
Yeah.
They've been really good for us. Okay. Go for it.
So now that that's dry, you're gonna take your jewel green and you're gonna paint the rind.
But Quinn always shakes her paint first with the lid closed. We throw in that lid closed part for a reason.
Okay, so I'm gonna use a skinnier brush for this part because the rind's more skinny than the fruit part.
You're going to use an angle brush for that one. You like that one?
Yep.
Okay. I do too. Good choice. You can just get right exactly in the right spot with that, can't you?
Yep.
I love those. Quinn, you got really good control for a 10-year-old. I've got to say that. You got really good control for an adult.
Thanks. So you can use a big brush, a small brush. It doesn't matter what size your brush is. A big brush, it might go faster, but a smaller brush, it might go slower. But if you want to use a small brush, then you can use a small brush.
Maybe you could control it better with a small brush. Maybe you might feel like that.
Yep.
So it just depends on what you're comfortable with. I think the more brave people get about painting, the bigger brushes they'll try. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because they get more confident. That's my guess.
So
I love how you're getting out all your paint ridges as you go. That's expert.
so this is what paintings will be on the part for kids by kids. They're just gonna be easy, cute designs like this design. They're not gonna be hard, like they're gonna have detail, but not like detail that it's so hard to do.
And so you've got some other things in your mind that you're thinking of for the future.
Yep.
Well, we'll have to stay tuned and see what Quinn comes up with. So I've been making pattern packets and teaching people how to paint for a long time. But maybe people watching, maybe they don't know that you actually wrote down with a pencil and a piece of paper all your steps of what you did all by yourself. You thought of all the words to say. You wrote down the colors that you used. And then I am her grandma, but I was kind of amazed that a 10-year-old knows how to do this. This still kind of surprises me. I put her in front of the computer, which she already knows how to use because they learned it in school, and opened up the program for her to type the instructions. And she typed everything in the instructions that she had written down on paper, all by her stinking self. I was pretty happy about that. Her grandma is also a secretary and has typed for many years. So the fact that she's 10 years old and can type almost as fast as me was kind of amazing. So that is the grandmother boasting moment. Okay, so what are you going to do on the sides of your edges of your wood? Did you decide to do those green too?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the green looks like it might take more than one coat. What's your thoughts?
Oh yeah, maybe two.
Okay.
Let's see how it looks like when it dries.
Right. And we've got our drying heat gun, so that will help really fast. Should we tell people what this is? Maybe they don't know what these are.
Yeah.
Okay, you paint green. Let's see if I can show them. Let me just show them what this is. This is called a craft tool, craft heat gun. And it's called a heat gun, heat craft tool. There we go. And they look like a blow dryer, but they're smaller. And when you turn it on with just this little button, instead of getting a large blast of air, like a blow dryer would probably, blow clear to the other side of the room, it has just a very gentle fan, but the temperature that comes from the heat of the gun is quite warm. And so it dries your paint really super fast. I think these might have been made for embossing for people that do cards. I am not a card expert, so clearly, if you know that it's for something else, don't listen to me, but I think that's how it was designed. But my point is, for about $23 or so, this thing is going to save you years of time in your life if you paint a lot. So I would highly recommend it. I got mine from Covered Distributing. I love Covered Distributing, cdwood.com. But you can also get them on Amazon. And so lots of different places carry them. So just a tip, maybe you've been painting for a while and we're looking for something to add to your collection. Maybe you're brand new. Quinn, you want to move that over here on the camera so they can kind of see how it's coming? It's looking good. You've almost got the edges of your green painted.
Yep.
What have you enjoyed most about this project?
I've enjoyed hanging out with my grandma.
Yeah, that's fun, huh?
Yeah.
How this came about is you slept over one weekend and we were looking something fun to do.
Yep.
Huh?
So I'm gonna dry this real fast before I do the top part. So I don't get any paint anywhere, like
Looking good, Quinn.
okay, so everything's dry. I think I might do a second coat of the green.
We're gonna do the top edges too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. Yes, yeah, I would agree. I would think or put it in camera so they can make a judgment with you. Yeah, I think another coat would do good because I can see a few splotches, a little bit of the wood underneath. So I say go for it. I totally agree with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna paint the tops first.
It's looking good. And you can already tell it's a watermelon. Fast work, I'm telling you.
Okay, so that part's finished. The edges are done. So now I'm gonna just go over the rind part.
It's looking good.
And get some more paint.
So we tell them about, there's a little tiny smudge, so we tell them about what she did.
Oh, yep.
So if you want to erase some paint, she has a tiny smudge on her red. You get a Q-tip, stick it in water, roll it across a paper towel, just absorb some of that water, and then you can use it to erase a boo-boo, as long as the paint's still wet.
I don't think it's the word.
That's okay. We can always go over it again, too. And you're going to have seeds that will cover some of it, too.
And the white part.
Oh, yeah, you're stippling, correct. The watermelon rind. When you get done with that green, we'll use this to take a little bit of paint off your fingers, Quinn, and that will save the day with your red.
Okay.
We can teach people a new trick about rubbing alcohol in paint.
Okay, so I did I get a second coat on my rind. And it looks pretty good so far, so I'm gonna blow dry it just real fast so it will get all dry.
And then I'll take the green off your fingers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Okay, so let's see if it's dry.
Okay, we'll give it a minute. So let's show them your fingers on there so they can see when you're done.
One part still wet.
Okay, well, let's clean your fingers. Okay, so this happens all the time to painters. I usually wear a paint apron because it also gets on my clothes. But what, she had a little green on her fingers and she touched a little bit on the red, and that's how that transferred on there. So, one, you could quickly dip them in water or, of course, wash them off really quick. One thing that's really handy is to use a little bit of hand sanitizer because it has a high degree of rubbing alcohol, and alcohol dissolves acrylic paint. So, Quinn, just hand me your fingers here for a minute. We'll just put a little bit on here. Of course, it doesn't take very much. And just a little bit of paper towel. Yeah, don't drip it on your project. And yeah, it'll come right off. See, it's already coming off onto the paper towel. So you just want to make sure that you don't transfer any of the rubbing alcohol right onto your project. So yeah, we'll just soak a little bit of a paper towel with it for you, and go ahead and rub, and then the trash can's right there. You can throw it right away.
Okay.
I'm going to clean out your little green brush for you. And we'll dab on a little bit of your red over those boo-boos right there.
Yep.
And dry those before we move on to your next step. Okay. How's that?
Okay, that sounds good.
That work?
Yep.
Did it do the job?
Yep.
Okay, the trash can's right down there. Okay, clean as a whistle. Good job. There's your brush. Okay, where are we headed next?
Now we're gonna just patch up all the boobies of the red.
Already got some red out. It's kind of fun to see the other people have little mistakes too, because then it makes me realize that it's okay to be unperfect.
Okay, I think it's dry.
That looks good to me. Looks good to me. Okay, so what's your next step? You think you did the other color on the watermelon rind next, right?
Yeah, that seems about right. So now we're gonna use the color, this light green. It's called sour apple.
Shake, shake, shake.
With the lid on.
With the lid on, yeah. Our rule of the day. So tell me why you chose this color, Quinn.
I chose this color because on when you use your watermelons, they have a dark color and then they have a light color with the stripes on them.
Good. I love it.
So now this part, I would recommend a small brush. And now you're just gonna go like this and make your watermelon lines.
And you can make them as big or little as you want.
Yep.
And as close together or far apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking good so far. Now, I just thought of one thing. So you're making sure very carefully that your green touches your red, which is great. But we're going to stipple over that. And if you have any boo-boos or it's not perfection, you'll never be able to see it, right?
Yep.
Because it'll be covered up with other colors of paint. So that was a good project for a beginner to have that in there. I didn't think of that.
Me neither.
That's good. Wow, that looks pretty faboo. Our document camera, every time you move your hands, does a little autofocus. So it's kind of fun to watch.
So this part, you don't have to make them straight. You can make them wiggly. You can make them as straight as you want. You can make them any way you want. Just make sure that you're happy with it at the end.
Yeah, that's where the joy comes in, right?
Yep. You don't want to be sad about your painting that you worked really hard on.
Right, I agree.
I'm almost done with this part. I think I might do a second coat.
Okay. No problem with that.
Okay, so this is my last one.
When you paint over those holes with the light green, you can see it really good on the camera where our wire is going to go.
Yep. Okay. So now we're going to take the heat gun and blow dry it. Okay.
Pretty dry?
Yep, it's all dry.
Good. Okay, go for it.
Okay, now time for our second coat.
And it doesn't have to be perfect, does it?
Yep.
Because if you look at a watermelon skin or a watermelon rind, it's actually kind of patchy green. So yeah, it doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. And it kind of looks fun, actually, if it's not. But yours looks pretty darn good to me, if you ask me.
Okay, almost done with my second coat here.
You are just burning through it. Going pretty fast here, I've got to say.
Okay, so I think I like how that second coat looks on it. So I don't think I'm going to do another coat.
Okay, you want to dry it?
Yep.
Now this is going to be really dry before you do your stippling, right?
Yeah. Okay, I think it might be dry.
Okay, check it all because before you put white on it, you want it to be bone dry.
Oh my God, you found a little bit of wetness.
Okay,
Better check everything else before. Oh, that's a little bit wet.
I'll remove that now. Now that your sides are dry, it'll be easier.
Yep.
Okay. Looking good. Okay,
Okay,
good.
everything's bone dry. Okay, so now for the stippling,
Now, what do you want to share with people about stippling? About the kind of brush, wet,
um,
dry?
so you're gonna want a kind of brush like this where it has spiky edges. The brush is spiky
Stiff
and stiff,
bristles? Yep.
like this instead of this.
So that one's super soft, the brownish one. And the one you're going to stipple with has kind of a white bristle that's much more stiff,
Yeah.
and you're going to be pouncing with it,
So
right?
you're gonna be going like this.
You're going to be jumping up and down like a sewing machine needle.
And so you don't want your brush wet. You want it as dry as you can possibly have it. Now we're gonna use this again when we're gonna stencil the letters on there.
But let's tell them what happens if it's wet, because somebody might not know. What happens if you try to use it wet?
So when you try to use it wet, turn it doesn't look very good and it just turns out
Your paint smears all.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't give the effect like it does like this.
Yeah, it'll be all watery and runny, right?
Yep.
Okay. And
Okay, so you want your brush bone dry.
and you want
So
dry paper towel too,
yeah.
right?
And so we're gonna use this color called light buttermilk. Shake it up.
That's okay.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit. That was a little bit, that was a lot, but you're gonna take a little bit. You're gonna go like this on your paper, like you're stippling, until there's barely any paint in it. So,
So you're trying to take some of the paint off your brush so that it doesn't
yep,
blob on your
yep.
watermelon?
So now I have that much on.
And oh, now you're covering up with the green
And red meat.
and red meat. So that's why we didn't need to be super perfect, right?
Yep.
Because you're going to cover up anything that looks like a mistake. Since you've got a white color that's going over some colors that are darker, maybe you'll need to do that 2 or 3 times around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at the muscles in your arm. Keep going. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens when it starts to get too light?
When it starts to get too light, see how I'm stippling there, but nothing's showing up? Then you do the same thing. You take some paint, a little bit, you stipple it onto your paper until there's barely in it. Well, on your napkin.
But you're dry. It's dry paper towel. Yeah. Yeah, looking good. Looking good to me.
You can make the white as thick as you want or as small as you want.
Right. And you can make it a sheer, meaning so you can still see it, or you can kind of make it opaque where there's more white and you can't see too much underneath the white, correct?
Yep.
Looks good on the camera to me.
Yep.
What I see.
This part is a little bit harder. It makes your arm tired. Especially if you want it perfect, like very dark. Then that's when it starts to get harder because your arm starts to get tired. And
You know, you could do if you had that, you could do it for a while, set it aside, and you could work on your seeds while
yeah.
your arm rests, and you could go back and do that, I guess, so, or your wire or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Looking good. Pretty fast too, really.
Yeah.
So Quinn, once you get around there, remember how we like to do a little bit of dry rubbing after to help smooth it out too?
Mm-hmm.
You can do that also over the white part of your watermelon to kind of fill it in a little bit. She's moving right along there. Look at that. And don't forget to go over the tops of your watermelon on the top side where the green meets the red, remember?
Oh, yep.
So one thing that Quinn and I like to do, we'll show you here in just a second as soon as she gets the little ends of her watermelon tops done. It's kind of hard to paint that on a round surface because it rolls, right? Okay, so notice how she hasn't put any more paint in her brush for a while, and yet she's still got paint coming out. So inside the bristles of that brush, let's see this brush for you. You look at it, and it doesn't look like there's a lot on there. But actually, because she's been hitting the brush against the surface, she's got quite a bit of paint that's moved up those bristles towards the ferrule. This is called the ferrule. So there's actually more paint in there than what she realizes. And when she takes that to a surface and starts rubbing on it, it's going to leave a light layer of paint underneath. So that's what she's doing. We call that dry brushing sometimes, and it helps kind of smooth things out. And the harder she presses with the brush, the more pressure, the more paint she's going to get out of there on her surface. How does that look to you? It looks good to me, Quinn.
Yeah, I like it so far.
Good. So you
That's
can,
the thing that matters the most.
yeah, if you like it, if you're happy with your product.
Hey, I'm happy with it. What do you think?
I think it looks pretty good.
Okay, so
Okay, so don't dry it out yet because what's the
yep.
next step that you're going to use that for?
The next step is we're going to use our pencil. Mm,
And you're going to use that same color?
Yep.
So how do you know where to put it? Once you decide where you get your stencil, what are you going to do?
You're gonna put it where you want. You can make it to the side, down here, wherever you want. I'm gonna put it in the middle. Do you think that's in the middle?
Uh, looks good to me.
Okay. So
So,
now once you've put it in the place you want, you're gonna get some tape. You're gonna tape it onto your surface so it doesn't wiggle around. Okay, so when you're stenciling, you can't have a lot of paint in your brush because if you have too much paint, it's gonna seep under and it's gonna leak under, and your stencil is going to not look very good because there's paint over here when there's not supposed to.
and so to do that, how do you do that?
You have to dab your napkin so much that there's only a little bit of paint left. And so the thing about this is that you're going to have to do a lot of layers if you want it to look like natural white.
Like bright.
Yeah, bright and like not see-through.
So is it kind of like stippling like you did?
Yeah,
Okay. Only you just make really, really sure your brush is dry?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Mm,
So she didn't load any more paint in her brush. She probably has a little bit in there, but you might want to, yeah, start a little bit more. So it'll show up on camera a little bit. It's pretty good. Oh, good test. Show them on your camera what you're doing. So she thought to test it on your thumb. If it's not leaving a blob on her thumb, she's probably good to go, right? Haven't thought about that, but brilliant. Yeah, that's good to me. Yeah. Now, if you're not sure if you have too much paint when you start to stencil, just hit it really softly. And then if you need more color, the more pressure you use when you hit, the more paint you'll get out of your brush, right?
Yep.
So start out soft if you're not sure, and then build up the pressure.
See, that's what it looks like so far.
Yeah. You can take a little peek, I guess, if you want. Just don't slide it. That looks fab already. Okay. You're going to be Miss Muscle by the end of tonight, or your arm's going to be sore either way. So when it gets to be, so it's not laying down enough paint that she likes, then she can add a little bit more. And she's doing a little shoulder rotation to make sure she can move tomorrow. It's looking good though.
Think I'm gonna add a little bit more paint into my brush.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think you're ready.
And also, if you have like, if you put a lot of paint on your brush, and then once you went on your napkin, there's a little bit of paint where you first started off, you can run your brush through that, and you can get some paint on there.
Oh yeah, if you had a lot of paint on your paper towel at first, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah. Then it doesn't load your brush quite so heavily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thoughtful. Good thought. Okay, yeah, that looks good to me. That's the fun thing about taking a class is teachers learn from their students too. I'm learning from my student Quinn here a few tips that I didn't think of that are pretty handy duty. You've almost got the biggest word done, Quinn.
Yep.
How's your arm there?
Good.
That's switching off.
I don't know if I can do this. Never tried it before.
Whatever it takes. Well, you probably haven't tried to do it as fast as you're trying to do it here on our recording. Do you want me to finish your stenciling while you work on the seeds,
Sure.
or do you want to keep going?
I'll keep going.
Okay, yeah. We haven't even talked about the seeds yet.
No. So for the seeds, you're gonna use a sponge.
Oh, show that. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. But we forgot to put the color for the seeds on our instructions, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's okay. They can pick.
We didn't use that till that after we wrote the sections.
Right. Yeah. But people figure out, they know what color watermelon seeds are, right? They're black or black. So they'll figure
I
it
mean,
out.
sometimes they're white.
Sometimes, not very often. But for our purposes here, we're going to do them what? How's it looking underneath when you feet?
Good.
Okay, good. We're almost there. If you want me to help you, I can.
I got it.
You are doing good. I do believe you've got it.
One, also, if when you're doing it softly, there's not a lot of paint coming out, you can hit it harder and more paint will come out.
Yeah, because paint's already started to move up into the bristles of that brush, right?
Yep.
Woohoo! Only one more word to go. Yay! You are the champion. The stippling, stenciling champion. Just taking a few arm stretches here. Taking one for the team.
Need a little bit more paint.
Looking good. You're so stinking close. So probably before you take it all the way off, you're probably going to pick up a corner of it and check it first before you move it, right?
Yep.
Because if you don't like it or if you missed a spot, then you can lay it right back down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
You're running out of paint.
She's almost got it.
Almost done, yeah.
Perfect. Woo-hoo. Okay, let's take a peek. Let's give it a go.
What do you guys think? Think it's
Oh,
ready?
I'm in love with it. Do you want to take it off yet, or is there any touch-ups you want?
Oh, I think I like it. What about you guys?
Yay! I hear the applause in the background in my imagination. Okay, are we done with this brush then?
Yep.
Okay, I'll go ahead and clean it out for you. And I'll let you set aside your watermelon and talk about the seeds. You can teach your crowd about the
Okay,
seeds.
so I'm gonna set this to the side. So we got our seeds, and you can either use this soft black or this flint black. Either one. I'm gonna use the soft black. That's the one I used in the original.
Okay, how are you gonna paint these, Quinn?
Hmm?
How are you gonna paint your
I'm
seed?
gonna use a sponge.
And why are you gonna use that? Tell us about the reason for that.
Um,
Well, let's take a look at the sponge. And let's take a look at your watermelon seeds. Pull out your watermelon
I
seeds.
know why. Because they can get into smaller
Yeah.
places and work better on smaller
Dump
things.
some seeds out here. I'm going to talk about while you're looking at that. So these seeds were cut on our laser cutter. And what a laser
Can I
cutter,
start?
sure, yeah, go ahead. I'll hold up a seed over here and you start over there. So she's got a cosmetic sponge, and you'll notice that it's flat on the end, right? And she's going to put paint on the top of it or on the end, and then take some off like she did when she's stippling, and she's going to paint just on the top side of her seed. It's not to stick. But when a laser cutter prints, back to this so that you can explain our color choice, it's actually a little beam of light or kind of fire, actually. And it kind of burns through the wood. And that's why laser cut wood always looks like a dark brown, because it's actually kind of burned. And it's actually really pretty. A lot of painters now, when you see a lot of laser cut projects that are layered, they leave their sides brown because it is a pretty color. In this particular brand of paint, keep painting, Quinn, I'll keep talking. This soft
Do you want me to
black,
paint the back?
you don't need to because you're going to glue it down. Soft black is almost an identical match to the side color of the laser cut wood. So it's kind of neat when you paint your seeds the same color as the sides. You don't need to do the sides. It just kind of blends and it matches really well. Plus, look how fast it goes with the sponge painting. Sometimes you need more than one application, but in the case of black covers really well. You probably don't need to, and it goes so fast. So I love sponge painting for that reason.
Need more paint.
Yeah, go for it. You are making such great progress, Quinn.
Hmm.
Now, do you glue your seeds on after you put the wire in? Or do you put the wire in first and then lay it flat to glue the seeds on? What's your style?
It really depends on how you want to do it, but I think I'm gonna glue the seeds on before I put on the wire.
Okay. So because we don't want to make the video really, really long, we'll just show them the kind of glue we use and glue on 2 or 3, and then they'll know how to finish it on their own. How does that sound?
Okay.
Because we need to show them about the bow, and we need to show them about twisting our wire together, right?
Yeah, we can have them dry while we're doing that.
Yeah, good. And you want to talk about putting a shine on their seeds or not? It's totally
Yeah.
up to them.
Yeah. Okay, so once I finish all these seeds, my grandma's gonna show you how to do a shine or a float.
Or you can just show them one that we did and tell them that it's an option. That'll work out too if you want.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. Okay, finished all the seeds.
Okay, great. So just throw your sponge, your cosmetic sponge in your water, and then you'll want to wash it out with soap when you're done.
So this is what they look like with the float. Totally up to you.
And a float does what?
It makes a shine to it.
Okay, yeah. So if you want a little bit of shine on the side of your watermelon seed, that's fun.
See the difference?
Yeah, you can either do it like that with a float. Maybe I won't show them. Or you can just take a little bit of a pencil. Let me see. This is a fast way for somebody that has never painted before. So just take like a little pencil. Let's move this in here so they can see it. And touch it in some white paint that's fresh. It has to be a new touch of white paint. And just touch it here and drag. Then you got a little watermelon shine. Shall we do one more just so they can see?
Yeah, can I try one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
Pencil, touch and drag. Great. There you go. Hers are as good as mine. So there you go. So that's great. Okay, let's set those aside for a minute and we'll work on our wire.
okay,
Okay.
this aside.
Yeah, let's move your paint out of the way over here so we don't drag our wire into our paint. How about that?
Okay,
Okay, I'm going to kind of help Quinn a little bit in interest of speed and show you what we did here. So while she's moving that out of the way, you can see that we have, our kit came with two different colors of wire, right? Red and green.
who's the
And to start with, we take the ends of the wire here and we just wrap them around our pencil once, just like that. And this is aluminum wire. It's pretty easy to bend.
if you need, you can have like an adult help you out with it.
Yeah, this is kind of like a two-person job, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you go to the other end and you're just going to wrap it around a pencil like that. Okay.
Okay.
So you got it stretched out. Let's show them what it looks like. We'll move it across. So you got that and that. Okay, now what are we going to do?
So now you're gonna twist it. So I'm gonna twist.
So,
You're gonna twist opposite ways.
yep. Now pull it tight. It has to be pulled tight. Now watch what's happening to our wire as we twist. Let's try to, where are we going to keep it on camera? There we go. We're getting a really neat looking rope effect. And you decide how tight you want to twist it, but you do want to twist it evenly so that your rope turns out to be not too twisted on one end and not as much on the other. That's why you need it twisting from both sides. Do you like that or you want to twist more?
I like that.
I think that's pretty cool, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what are we going to do? We've got these pencils, so slide it on. Let's put you in the screen. Okay, slide it on off. Okay, and I'll take my end out. We're knocking our paint over. That's okay.
Paint down.
Okay, straighten out your ends of the wire. You might want to use your pencil a little bit to pull it out a little bit. One thing that's really helpful are these little needle nose wire pliers. You can use that one, Quinn, if you want.
I got it.
You got it? You do have it. I think you do have it. Let's just show them what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the wire a little bit. Save my fingers a little bit. Want to use your wire? Good. Okay. So now our ends of the wire are straight enough that they can actually poke through the holes of our watermelon. So let's show them how we did that.
Got wire.
You're going from the front to the back, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so now what happens? Okay. So you got wire sticking out in the back, what, about an inch or so?
Yeah.
Inch and a half? Okay. So now you're going to take your, let's turn it like that. You're going to bend your wire upward. And then you've still got this funky wire at the back, right? So you want to take it and, yeah, bend it up around the watermelon wire and again to the back. Let's see.
I twisted it a different way.
It's hard.
I twisted it a different way.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can do it however you want. I'm going to use wire here to tighten it up just a little bit, a wire cutter. I'm going to use.
So you did mine.
So you did yours a little bit different. So there isn't a right or wrong. This one I did, and I just wrapped it around. This one Quinn did, and she just wrapped it in a knot so that it won't pull back out. I'm going to take these little wire ends and bend them in so that she doesn't poke her fingers. Or you can trim off any excess ends that you want. Try to move that on camera. There's not really a right or wrong. So Quinn, we can make these match after. We can fix them however you want, but
Okay.
for the sake of class time, we'll show them 2 different ways and they can choose. Okay, so straighten your wire, shape it the way you want, Quinn.
I like it that way.
You like it that way? Okay. Well, let's move on to our bow, man. We've just about got this wrapped up. And our seeds are sitting off to the side.
Unfold.
Okay. So we can work on this together. The first thing that we did is we took our little, this is floral wire, this really skinny wire, and it's so easy to bend. And, you know, each kit has about maybe 12 inches, 10 inches. I cut it in half, right, Quinn?
Yep.
So we have 2 pieces. It's kind of dark. It's hard to see on our towel. We actually have 2 pieces. So what do we do with this black first?
You tied into a bow.
We didn't tie it all the way into a bow. We made it into a bow that kind of looks like a bow.
It's a bow, but it's not.
Yeah, look how easy that is. You can make this as big or as small as you want. So let's try it again so they can see. So we have it flat and we bring it to the middle and we take this side and bring it to the middle and pull the tails down. And then we take the middle and we kind of gather it up. And what are you going to do with that wire, Quinn?
Wrap it around.
Okay, super tight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wrapped around the front. Let's pull it over to the back so they can see what you're going to do. You can use 2 hands. If you want to use 2 hands, I'll hold the bow. You can just take it and twist it tight like that. Okay, twist it as tight as you can. Okay, that's good for starters. That's enough for that. Okay, now, that looks kind of like a glump of bow, but this bow has a little bit of wire on the edges, so we can shape it the way we want. So there's the first step, right? How easy is that? So that one is a little bit different. We just kind of basically tied a bow out of it. Do you want to do it or do you want me to help you?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, go for it. Don't worry about the wire. We'll slip the wire in just a minute. That's a little tricky. Do you want me to show you how I did it?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Let me try to move over here on the camera. Okay, I just took the tail like this, just like I think about tying a bow on your shoes. So have it like that. Here's the end of the ribbon right there. And then I wrap this around.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then
Yeah.
you have your bow.
And then what do I do with this?
You put it
Push it
through.
right through there, just like you're tying your shoes. And then you pull, oh, you pulled it a little too far.
Oh,
That's okay. Let's start over again. Or let me push it through. But you got the general concept. You totally did. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap it around, right?
yep.
Tying shoes. We're thinking about tying shoes. And then it comes around over the top like that, but we want the cute part to show. And then it comes back through here, push it through with our fingers, and it's the loops that we pull tight. Now, that looks kind of goofy. So we just pull this, yeah, pull the sides so that they look decent. We want it to look decent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we keep pulling it a little bit tighter and keep adjusting. Now, you want your watermelon-y sides to show, right? So that's how it's good that it has wire, because you can kind of shape it, because you want your watermelon-y sides to be on the outside, right? Yeah, twist that one around, Quinn. Way to go. She's got the hang of it. Yep. And same thing with the back here. See how that's kind of twisted there? All you have to do is bend it out like that. Yep. So I can guarantee you're going to want to trim off the ends of your bow, but I would wait until it's actually on your wire and then you can decide.
So
Now you need this
now
other piece of floral wire.
you're gonna connect it together
Yeah.
like that, and then you're gonna take your floral.
But let me show you what you do with your floral wire. I think maybe I didn't show you this last time. So to get this bow to stick on your black bow, you're just going to take it through the back of your thing where you tied it over like that. And then you can lay it right where you did that before and take your wires to the back, right?
Where's the other side?
Oh.
Ha! Found it.
Found it right there? They kind of see a jumble of hands on the camera, so we're trying to help them to be able to see. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough. Okay. So now we've got both of the bows tied together, and because it's got wire on it, you can shape it to any size that you want. And I would personally wire it on your red and green wire, and then you can adjust the size of your bow and change it. Okay, so Quinn, pull up your watermelon, the red and green wires on there. I'm going to give you one little tip. I'm going to take these wires with the needle nose pliers, and I think that I'm going to pull them up and just give them one more tight twist so it's really good and tight. How's that?
Yeah.
You like that? Okay, now they're all squashed, remember, just like a squash cabbage, but you can fix it because the wire bends when you put it on. Okay, now where do you want to put it? Now, you could put it right there. You can put it over on the side, either side. You can kind of put it off to the side.
I think I'm gonna put it on top.
Okay, you wire it on where you want it to be.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my wire, where I want to put it. You guys put it anywhere. I'm just gonna decide. I just decided to put it on the top. And then you're just gonna wrap it around but you're gonna wrap it around behind the bow so you can't see it when it's on there. Just like this.
And then you're just gonna shape it to the way that you like it. And then we'll show them how to trim the ends. Wow, all you have to do is glue on your seeds. Of course, you would tell them to spray varnish it or maybe put this kind of varnish on it when you're
Okay.
done. Okay, here's some varnish you can show. Shall we show them how we like to trim the ends?
Here's the varnish.
Now, why do you use varnish?
It keeps the paint look newer and nicer, and it doesn't get scratched up, and it lasts longer.
Protects it from moisture. Would you paint the back first too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. It protects it. Okay, so they can do that either before you put the wire on or after, but for the sake of video, we just did it now. We just put the wire on now. So let's show them a quick way they can trim their ends of the wire. Okay, what you need to do is fold your wire in half, your ribbon in half.
But
Yeah.
make sure you don't cut yourself.
Yeah. Fold your ribbon in half, and then Quinn's just going to cut right on there, and let's see what happens. I'll hold this side. Cut it at an angle. Oh, let's get on camera. Okay. Good, 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 good. Now look what happens when we separate that. You got your perfect little tail on the end of your watermelon ribbon. Bravo. Let's do it to the black and white, and then they can finish the rest on their own because they'll see how it works. We won't necessarily trim the other side of your watermelon on camera. Okay, you want to take it on an angle. Oh, you're doing good. I know these aren't super sharp scissors, so it could be easier with sharper scissors. Okay, show them. There you go. Now, if that's a little crooked, you can trim that up, but because your ribbon's got wire in it, you can shape that right on top of that. And isn't that cute, Quinn? Are you happy? Love it.
And then when you're ready to glue your watermelon seeds on, you can just glue them with like this.
Yeah, they can put them wherever they want, right?
Yeah, this is how I set mine up.
You recommend them trying them all out first before you actually glue them on?
Yep. Because if you want, you can do 5.
Yeah. I think we put 7 in the kits because we like having an uneven number, right?
Yep.
And so we like this kind of glue.
The Gorilla Clear Grip
It's
Contact.
I'll show them what it looks like. We won't necessarily glue them on here on camera, but it's kind of like a clear caulking. Sorry, let's get it started here. And it's kind of thick, but it's very, very difficult, if impossible, to get anything off. So it does kind of ooze out. Yeah. So what we would do is we would just put a dot. I might as well just do one. Maybe one of your seeds. Okay. Which one do you want to do? Okay, hurry because it's oozing. So we only need like one tiny dot. In fact, this has started to ooze. That's too much. So we'll take some of it off. And it leaves just a little bit on the back. I'm moving it so you can see the shine. And then you lay it down in place where you want it. Is that where you want it? Okay, it can slide around for just a minute. Now, what happens after you get your glue on? You have to leave it flat. Why?
Because if you like have it at an angle, then they will slide down.
They'll slide off. Well, Quinn, I am just thrilled with your project. You have taken us through this and done such a great job. I'm going to switch the camera back around so they can see you, and I'm just really proud of the job that you've done. So there's Quinn. Go ahead and hold up your project, except make sure that watermelon seed doesn't slide. And if Quinn can do it at 10, you can do it too. So remember to check out our website, Sharon Cook Creations on Etsy. I just want you to know that anybody that buys Quinn's pattern or the wood kit, she gets all the money. So a 10-year-old making just a little bit of an income. And we set the price really low so that beginner painters can dip their toe in and just see how they like it. By kids, for kids. Have you had fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. We'll see you all later.
See ya. Bye.